Hey, good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. As you can see, back out in the garden. I've literally moved out here. You can also probably see by the weather that it's not as nice as yesterday in terms of sunshine. It's grey, but it's really, really hot. It's really, really close. So it's, yeah, a bit sweaty. So I thought I'd get a video in before I go and soak in the bath and then go to work. Now today, there's quite a few videos that I've been trying to get out. There's a couple of really interesting, weird and wonderful niche that I want to film and put out. But before I did that, I've got to talk about this. And this is Craze from Armaf. Craze, 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 craze. So look at that. There's a little impression of Stephen Burkoff in the film The Craze, which wasn't all that good actually. I think it had the Kemp twins in it. It came out, I think, in the 90s. Not as good as Tom Hardy's Legend, but not a bad film. Anyway, well worth the watch. It's just worth it for Stephen Burkoff's camp portrayal as an East End gangster. It's well worth a look. Anyway, I digress massively. Let's talk about this, which is Armaf's Craze. It's from Armaf, so as you would expect, the presentation is diabolical. Now that's what it looks like with the cap off. There is actually another bit of the cap in here, which is disintegrated. Now, bearing in mind, this came like this in its packaging. It's absolutely diabolical. I mean, I don't know, I've got quite a few from Armaf now, and I honestly think I could do a bottle haul of shame just purely by going to Armaf, my Armafs. They all fall apart. My little boy, he's got the bottle of Ventana I had. I gave him that to him, and that's in bits. It's just bits of plastic keep falling off these bottles. They're absolutely rubbish. And this sort of leatherette stuff, it's just, I mean, they're cheap, and I get that, so fair enough. But the juice inside, now that's a different matter. Now, I've had this a while, and I'll be honest with you, it's been one that I've been looking at for a very, very long time. It's a clone of Parfums de Marly's Pegasus. Now, I'm not going to get into the rights and the wrongs of cloning. If Tom Ford can release Italian Cypress, which is a very expensive fragrance, and it's obviously a clone of Halston Z14, which is a very cheap fragrance, you know, if that can happen, then anything can happen. And I'm quite ambivalent about it. I don't see, you know, I understand why people don't like clones, and I understand why people do like clones. I'm right bang in the middle, to be honest. I don't really worry too much when it's a big house like Parfums de Marly and another house like Armaf. You know, it is what it is. So this came out in 2010. I've had it a while, but I've not really worn it. It's, as I say, it's one that I was looking at buying for a long time because I like a bargain. I like a cheapie. And it was always going to be a blind buy, and sometimes you think, no, I'm stopping blind buy, and other times you think, yeah, go on anyway. I'm probably after a little bit of wine. I've ordered a bottle on the internet. Now, I've worn it around the house a few times, but yesterday was my first proper wearing. So I wore it to work. So we'll get back to that in a bit. Let's talk about the notes. So this came out, as I say, in 2010, and the notes are cumin at the top, heliotrope, bergamot. Then in the middle, you have bitter almond, you have lavender, you have jasmine, and you have sage. And on the base, you have sandalwood, you have vanilla, and you have amber. Now, straight off the bat, you can tell it's a Parfums de Marly's Pegasus clone. They smell very, very similar. Now, I don't have a bottle of it to hand. I don't own Pegasus, and I don't have a decant either. So I'm going from memory, and they smell pretty much the same. They're really, really similar. I'm not going to do the pseudo-scientific nonsense of going, well, they're about 87% the same, they're 92% the same. It doesn't work like that, because for what smells similar to me might not, you know, it might smell 100% the same to you, but it might smell 50% the same to somebody else. So just take it as this, they're in the same ballpark, and I think in the air around you, they smell incredibly similar. So I'm wearing it at the moment, and I'll give you another little spray now for the purposes of the review. So the spray is actually pretty good, but that's about the only good thing I can say about these bottles. They're absolutely rubbish. I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, I quite like this little bend bit, but this is all plasticky. It's just, if cheap had a face, there you go. So it's quite a strong opening. Now, something quite strange happened yesterday. I filmed a video about compliments. Now, we're going to get some train noises in the distance and stuff like that around us. So just look at it this way. Rich is doing some really good, interesting outdoor effects. This isn't real sound you're hearing. So anyway, I digress. This is a very potent opening. It's a very strong opening. Now, yesterday, as I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted by a train, I did a video on compliments, which is quite pertinent because I class a compliment from my wife as very, very rare and very, very, important to me because they don't happen very often. So yesterday I left for work I applied this about 1:30 in the afternoon yesterday, and shortly after my wife said, "You smell nice." And then I left the house. I walked down to the road to the train station. I bumped into a friend and she also said I smelled very nice. So that's 2 compliments from this. They're not unsolicited compliments because obviously I know both people. So it does push out enough for you to get a compliment, which is good. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Because I wore it to work, I got to work about 2 o'clock. Now, my work, like a lot of people's during the pandemic, or this pandemic that we're enduring, has changed considerably. So I'm outdoors for pretty much my entire shift and I'm covering a lot of ground. I'm doing a lot of walking, and it was really, really hot yesterday. So I wanted to see how this would perform, and it was incredibly loud, really, really good projection and very strong CRs for the first couple of hours. But as my shift went on, I got in at 10 o'clock last night and my wife could still faintly smell it on me. So it had died off, but it was still there. So that's a really, really, really good performance. Now, I haven't spent enough time with Pegasus to know just how long that lasts, but this has really, really good performance. And also what you've got to factor in, it was hot yesterday, really, really hot, and I was walking a lot, so I was sweating. So I think personally, this is probably better suited for winter, although it's got admirable performance. In fact, very good performance in the summer, but I think in the winter, this is going to be absolutely outstanding. It smells delicious as well. It's absolutely beautiful. It's screechy, it's synthetic, but it's wonderful. I really, really like this one, and it's one I'm going to wear a lot. With this, it's an incredibly linear fragrance. It does nothing. It doesn't change. All that happens is the volume changes. That opening blast, the cumin that's here, I don't really get it too much. Now, cumin, as I've mentioned in other videos, can be a bit funny with me. Sometimes it can smell a bit body odorish, and other times it can smell quite enchanting and spicy. If you look at Chopard Zub Maliki, there's cumin in that. Smells amazing on me. Hermes Samarcande, Poivroir Samarcande on me, it smelled disgusting. So that was 2 fragrances with cumin in. So you've got no worries on that one with the cumin here. The cumin actually works really, really well. Heliotrope is absolutely the star. The bergamot I don't get. There's a tiny, maybe a little hint of citrus, but I'm kind of, I think I'm finding citrus because I know there's citrus in it. I'm not smelling citrus, if you know what I mean. The almond and the lavender are the stars. You've got jasmine, sage, sandalwood, vanilla and amber. The things that I get from this are lavender, almond, the heliotrope, a slightly amberiness, and obviously a vanilla-y base to it. And it's lovely. It's really, really nice. It's a good fragrance for any age group. Your young thrusters out there will enjoy it, and your grizzled old fragrance enthusiasts like myself really enjoy it. I think because it's Armaf, you're never going to find it unless you probably might find it in an airport or something like that. They're generally going to be blind buys, so it is a bit of a gamble. I can see why people don't like it, because in the opening it is a little screechy. When it all kind of leaps out at you, there is a screechiness to it, and it is obviously going to be synthetic. I mean, this is less than £25 a bottle for 100 ml, so it's a real cheapie. And I know I keep going on about it, but look, I mean, it barely stays on. The bottle is absolutely horrific. I can't, I don't know what I'm at for playing it. I know they're working within a very limited budget, but I don't think there's any quality control there at all. And I just, it just looks awful. But then they churn out so many good fragrances. I'll kind of, I'll let them off that. The presentation isn't what you're buying this for. The performance is. Now there is, I think Al Haramain do one called Stallion, which is meant to be very similar in smell. I haven't smelt it, so I'm guessing. But the price difference is quite massive. This is like a third of the price of Stallion. And if you're going to pay that sort of money, then you'd probably be better off looking at going a bit further and buying the original from Parfums de Marly. Now, I think this is a really good addition to my collection. It's nice to have a cheapie that you can wear, like I did with Armaf's Club de Nuit Intense Man. I wore that to work an awful lot because it was cheap and it performed well and it smelt nice. And this I put up there with it. I think they're both level with each other. This probably won't have the shock and impact that Club de Nuit Intense Man or the controversy that it has, because obviously this isn't mimicking a Ventus. This isn't mimicking Voldemort. This is obviously mimicking Pegasus. If you're a fan of Pegasus, I would like to have some feedback if you've smelt the both, just to see, because from my memory, I think this is pretty much there or thereabouts. Obviously, it's going to be sharper, it's going to be more screechy, it's going to smell more synthetic because it is. And it is linear, but you know, I think the original, from when I remember testing it, was pretty linear as well. I don't think it did a great deal. It's pleasant. It will get you, well, it gets me compliments, so it may get you compliments. I don't know for sure. Easy to live with, good performance. It would be a great work scent, especially, you know, if you're going to the office in the morning. Your first couple of hours, this will be quite strong, but it will last you, well, it certainly lasted me an outdoor shift in heat, so I'm sure it will last you an air-conditioned office environment. I think it'll be a good fun one for the pub, maybe possibly a clubbing scent. I don't know if people still go clubbing, if you can still go clubbing. I haven't been to a club in years, and I'm now using the pandemic as an excuse. That's why I don't go night clubbing. It's nothing to do with the fact that I'm an old fart, honest. But I will wear this to the pub. I'm going away, as I said in yesterday's video. I'm going to go away for a few days with my family, and I'm going to take this with me down there because I think it's a great fragrance. It's inoffensive, and it will just, you know, you can use it in any scenario basically. So well worth looking at. As I said, or was trying to say before I ran away with myself, it's going to be a difficult one to sample. You are probably going to have to blind buy it if you want it. Now, what I do recommend is, if you're in any Facebook groups or anything like that, have a look, because someone will bound to be selling some partials of it. You know, it's one of those fragrances, I think I'm going to probably end up wearing this a lot and then probably get a bit bored of it and leave it alone for ages. So I'm sure people will be looking to shift a few mils of it, or even sell a whole partial of it, you know, once they've had it a while. I don't know, but I like it at the moment, and I'm certainly going to be wearing it a lot more. And what I actually should do really is, I've said this on quite a few videos now, I'll feed back, and I never do. I always get carried away and end up recording a different video, and I think that's driving Rich mad. So at some point I will do a video and feedback on a few videos that I have made, that hopefully, you know, will let you know how I've got on with the fragrance in sort of like a roundup, catch up kind of video. So hopefully I'll get that done at some point as well. So in closing, shocking bottle, very nice fragrance, good performance, and easy wear, and super value. I think this is an excellent, you know, cheapie basically, which is what it is. So there you have it, my take on Armaf Craze. And you know, it is exactly that, craze. Anyway, thanks very much for your time. Trying to get another video filmed very shortly, and then we'll try and get them out. So hopefully we'll be able to get this out this week, and another one out for next week. Obviously keep an eye on our Instagram, because although I'm going away, I'll still be posting bits and bobs on there for you guys to have a look at. And if you've got any questions, either get us on this or get us via Instagram. Anyway, I hope you're well. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers, and we will see you on the next video. Cheers and bye.